Every phone, something's got a virus in it. When you're doing something good or you're trying to do something good, the devil comes. He's got control over the phones. Father Rippinger says control over the videos, the televisions, everything. They can possess things. And all they can do is they can make you a frustrated old man. Try to get it all together. Make a recording or something. It's like I made a recording like this earlier. These are all I use electric and all that stuff because I got the fans going so freaking hot. Got the air conditioner up, full blast. I gotta have the fans on too. I got this heat blast, North Country. This morning it was so freaking cold out there, I wouldn't even want to go out with a jacket on. I'm just talking about a couple of weeks ago. Whole different story now. A block of sorrow in my eyes. Screw this. Every day, you can't do nothing for God. You can't do nothing. The Satan's got everything blocked, all the languages and everything. Can't even use the word "come" anymore. Maranatha, come Lord Jesus. Without thinking something else. Freaking pig brain. He belongs in the South.
I never met you slide. You were going one way, now you're going the other.
Sick on a couch. Over 600, God knows how many days. 27, 28, 30. 630 days. This shit. God's blessing on me. So every day trying to do something for God. And I end up the devil taking over. Got everything. Made my whole environment, everything religious. Can't look any place without seeing Jesus or somebody represents him. And I gotta go through this shit every day. There's no blessing on you. You're cursed. You believe in God, you're cursed in this world. There's nothing you can do about it until it's all over. So what are you going to do, people? Confess your sin? Eat, drink the body of Christ, live forever? Put up with this fucking shit every day. That's how I feel. I can't stand it. Every time you turn around, you think you're going to get blessed by God, and all you do is get cursed by Satan. And God does nothing about it. This is human beings. This is what we're going through. This is what God wants to have faith. Every day, the fucking devil's out there fucking things up. And we're supposed to be, there'll be an answer. Well, you didn't make us that perfect, God. Tell it like it is, Billy. Bring it for the cross. Give me how you feel on the inside. Where did I get that from? The devil tell me to say that or think that? So he have a floor to tell God like it is. Uses me and I don't even know it. Frustration every day from a worm. That's all I was a worm. A sperm worm. Turned into a pollywog, and then I grew arms and legs and eyes, and now I'm a bullfrog. Don't know it. Ribbit. Ribbit. Then what do? I repent. I sit down and say, oh, what did I say that for, God? I didn't really mean it. I can't even remember what I said. Unless I make a video of it and play it back. Another tactic the devil has. When you lose it, you make a video of it. Now you got to play it back so you can see how you lost it. All kinds of games. I have been put in every trap. You wouldn't believe all the traps I've been put in by the devil. Trying to get me. Uses the police force to do it too. And I didn't do anything wrong. It was done wrong to me. And then when I complained about it, brought the cops in, they would point at me and say, I don't want that man back in my store. What does the cop do? He looks at you and he says, you come back in here and I have to arrest you. Arrest me for what? They're the ones that stole from me. That's the way it is, people. That's the way the world is. There's no justice. Don't go to court thinking you're going to get justice nowadays. All you're going to get is arbitration. And it's in their favor. The foreign countries come in and bought our businesses, took our rights to take you to court away and substituted arbitration. And they're the arbitrators. Whatever they say is the law. A foreign country now. We gave our country away. We gave our rights away, people. Can't take anybody to court, get your money back anymore because you're arbitrating. That's what the foreign countries did. They came in, took over our business, and took our court rights away, and gave us arbitration, and they're in charge of it. How stupid are you people in the United States of America? So caught up in your own freaking nose in the pornography and everything else, you can't see what's happening in the United States. How our laws are turning into against God. We pervert children now, and we murder them. And we're going to what? God show us mercy? We killed 71 million babies since that law. Something has killed 37 million babies with that law, with their law. Heck, there was a time you can only have one child. And if it wasn't a boy, you killed it. 337 million babies murdered by China. And they're taking over the world? What does that tell you, people? Who's in charge? The devil! What can we do about it? Nothing. Oh, you get signs, go on the street corners. Oh, save the children. Oh, keep them from being perverted and murdered. And everybody just honks their horn and throws their finger up at you and everything else, saying, you guys are all screwed up. You're what's wrong with the world. You're the ones. No, you're murdering the babies, and you're telling our religion what's wrong with the world. And you're murdering our babies and perverting them now. You got a law now. 2 perverts can go in and adopt a child out of an orphanage. Bring it home. Give it everything. All it's got to do is listen at night to you and your hubby, daddy and choking and gagging, oohing and on, and the kid's listening. What's going on in there? And by the time he's of age, 10, 11, somewhere around there, 12, sexual maturity, he's listening to you and daddy with a jar of Vaseline in his hand. So what'd you do to that child? You perverted him. He's a pervert now. And we did that, people. We made that law. And now they've got the right to do it. And if you say something, they put you in jail. Because the law is the law. You can pervert if you get a child. You can pervert them now. Perverts have their rights. Oh, we have our rights. What, the pickle smooch? Man. Silence. All of a sudden, silence. Because God gives the rights to pickle smoochers and his people that love him and are devoted to him. He ignores them. Oh, there'll be an answer in the day of judgment. Oh, right now is my day of judgment. And I'm looking at everything and trying to analyze everything. If there's a God, he's silent. He don't say a word. I've never even seen God. I'm sitting here and people are getting heads chopped off and they've never seen Jesus. They don't even know if he really rose from the dead. We don't know. It's a story. There's no proof. We got to live by faith. That's what God gave us, faith. Well, if I have faith, God, then how come I'm sick? How come I'm sick, God, for 640, 50 days? Long COVID. How come I'm sick? When I praise God every day, go to Mass every day. Ask God, pray the rosary every day. And all I get is this crap. Bullshit. They stick you in jail. You're the one that's wrong. They stole from me more than once, more than twice. I don't know how many times they've stolen from me. God doesn't do a thing about it. When I bring the cops in, they look at you and they say, you've been banned from here. They've banned you from here. If you come back here, I'll have to arrest you. I said, what do they arrest me for? They're the ones that stole money off me. And now they try to steal my $800 amplifier. I told them to put it in the back of my truck. I got spinal stenosis, you know. And I drove off, and I got home, and I looked for my amplifier in the back of my pickup truck. It wasn't there. I called them up, and he said, there's no amplifier here. We looked all, there's no amplifier here. $800 amplifier, just bought it. State of the art. A Fender even has all your enhancements for your voices, and they had playback and everything else. Beautiful amplifier. Just the right size for me. I brought it in there to try out a microphone. And then when they ripped me off for the $100 at the cash register, and I put up a big stink, they started, oh, you're calling me a thief? You're calling me this and that? He stole from me. Look at my videos. It tells you the story. I'm not going to go through all that again. Heck, I'll put my fist through the wall. Break my hand, probably. That's how mad I get. And then God does nothing about it. I got stolen from the Guitar Center. Right in front of my face, he took it. And the guy before me, they took it from him. But they got him in a different scam. He counted out all of his money, and the guy says, looks at him, he says, I can't count all that. I got too many customers here. I have to take it back to the counter and have it counted. He goes, okay, go ahead. And there was $1,200 there, right? So he takes it, puts it all in a big pile after he counted it. Now he takes and gathers all up because he's not going to, the cashier's not going to count it in front of everybody. He takes it back to the counter, comes back with a slip, hands it to him. He says, you're $100 short. And I goes, what? I watched him count it out. He wasn't $100 short. I watched them do it before they did it to me. An hour later or so, after the guy left. The atmosphere cleared and everything. Now, who else can we grab for $100? Oh, who's this guy? I got it all honest, trusting. I got all my money spread out on the table. It's been digitally videoed, and Guitar Center has that video. That man stole from me $100. And how he did it is in my video. I'm not going to go through all that again. And then when I complained, they started screaming and howling. I'm calling him a thief and this and that. And I just pack it up. I'm out of here. And I left. And then when I got home, my amplifier was missing. I called back. I left my amplifier. How come you didn't put it in the back of my truck like I asked you to? You don't have an amplifier down here. There's no amplifier down here. We looked all over. There's no amplifier. They're stealing my $800 amplifier I just bought. So I said, that's it. I'm calling the cops. So the guy who's the general manager of the place, he's out to dinner with his parents, and his two proteges that he's training there that are ripping everybody off. I don't know where they came from, New York or something. I don't know where they came from. They run in this $100 scam on people with cash. They get you for $100. You count it all up, put it on the counter. And they say, I'll take it back to the counter. And they come back to the counter and they come back. Oh, you're $100 short. How are you going to prove it? You paid in cash. Can't pay in cash anymore in the United States of America because you'll get ripped off. Because that's how crooked we've got. There's no honesty in the United States of America that I've seen. Especially in the music stores. I spent over $6,000 in musical equipment and everything to make these videos and all this other stuff. I got phones involved and TVs and amplifiers, and I got my talent and everything else and all my time and everything so I could make a video. And what do I get? Oh, your amplifier in here. That's it. I called the cops. I went down to the police station. Couldn't get in. There's nobody at the door or anything, so I'm waiting out in front, and a cop car pulls up. Can I help you? I told him the situation. I told him how they ripped me off for $100, and then they tried to get my amplifier, and then when I put up a big stink about it, they called up the owner, this manager of the store, while he's out to dinner with his parents, telling him I'm calling him a thief. I'm calling him, he stole from me and all that. And I says, where's my amplifier? Where's my $800 amplifier? So I said, that's it, I'm calling the cops. So I get a call back an hour later from the general manager saying, we found your amplifier. They didn't tell me where it was or anything like that. We just found it because they were going to rip me off from it. His two uh, assistant managers he was training. He had one train and another one, and that manager was training another one. And that's the one that ripped me, and the one before that was training this one that ripped me, ripped off another guy right in front of my face. I saw it happen. Guy in a white hat with a Yankee symbol on it. And he was a DJ, and he got $400 a job doing a DJ. 4 hours. He had all the musical equipment, everything, all the records, everything that you need. He ran a program for your party and all that stuff. It cost $400, and he did 3 of them on a weekend, $1,200. He brought it back to the Guitar Center and counted it out. I saw him count it out, put it on the counter and everything to pay for his equipment. And he says, I don't have, then that assistant manager that's training the other one that ripped me off, he says, I have to take that back to the counter. I can't count that right now, and I got too many people here. The guy says, okay, go ahead. He trusted him. So he gathered it all up, went back, come back with a slip hand to him. He said, you're $100 short. And I goes, what? He had 12 piles of $100 in each pile. So he's looking around for a pile, $100. A pile of $100. Did it fall off the counter or something? Where did it go? In that guy's pocket because you didn't go with him. He's ripping you off because you're dealing cash. And he's a crook. You can't tell that to the general manager. Your assistant managers are crooks. They're ripping people off. And what gets me is that it's digitally, all of those transactions, and the employees don't know it, are digitally recorded in Chicago. They got a copy of what they did to me. And I called their main office up and told them what they did. I didn't get any call back from the main office. They know what happened. But they merged with another company because they were going down. They were $45 million in the red because people were stealing off of them. All their employees, they hire all these musicians that don't have a cent. And make them assistant managers, and then they take off. And when they're in charge, the assistant manager in charge, they put all the guitars in their trunk. $45 million. They were in the red from thieves. They saw what happened to me and the guy before me. They didn't say a damn thing. And then when I told the cops, because they patrol the place every night, people breaking in, stealing equipment and stuff. So they're taxpayers, man. And when you complain against the taxpayer, whose side are the cops on? Whose side are the police on? Johnson City. And I told the Johnson City police officer, I even give him a picture of myself before I grew the beard. I grew the beard because I'm making videos and I'm a musician now and I'm retired. I got 2 4-year degrees, 1 2-year degree. If I don't tell you, who's gonna? I'm not bragging. I'm not stupid. I saw what they did to me. They ran their game, their $100 scam game. Probably run it all the time. I don't know how many people have probably complained. Check out the police records. Maybe I scared them enough to where they're not doing it anymore. I don't know. I haven't been back there because the guy banned me. When I brought the police officer in, because I didn't trust these guys. I didn't know what they were going to do to my car or whatever. Because I called up the main office and told them how they're thieving, how they're stealing. And they were out to get me. So I come back in, and the general manager's standing there. When I came back in, he walks to the back, comes back with my amplifier and puts it down in front of me. And he looks at the cop and he says, I don't want that man back in this store. And the cop looks at me and he says, if you come back in this store, I'll have to arrest you. I says, for what? They stole from me. I didn't steal from them. And he walks me to the door. He says, now, is there anything else you want to say? Because he told me not to say anything when I got there. He'd be doing all the talking. And the first thing they did is, where's your cameras? He goes, where's your cameras? And the guy lied to him, or maybe he didn't know, but we don't have cameras. But they are digitally monitored at the cash register, and they don't know it. Because if they tell the management, then they'll know, and they can't catch them stealing. The only way you can steal now, without the main office seeing it, is to hide a guitar in a guitar case in the back, and then when your manager leaves for something, and he leaves you in charge, you just go back. There's no cameras. Stick the guitar case in your trunk, and there you go. You got $2,000. How many times did they do that? $45 million in the red? Guitar Center was, and they joined up with some other place. And I called them up and let them know. I didn't get no call back or nothing. They know what happened. They saw what happened. They had to have. Because I got, by a respectable businessman that's been in the music business for a long, long time, 40, 50 years, I guess, whenever. He'd been in ever since I was a teenager. He was in the business. I worked for him. I remodeled his shop and everything. And he told me, Bill, he says, those people are monitored by a digital monitoring system that they don't know about to keep transactions so they can catch them stealing. Well, these guys stole from me. They weren't stealing from the company. They were stealing from me. So I didn't get any call back from the main office. And I said, how about the guy before me at $1,200? He counted it out on the desk. There's got to be a digital video of that. He counted it out. I watched him do it. All I know, he's got a white hat and a Yankee symbol on it. And he's a DJ. And he makes $1,200 every weekend. And he does 3 parties or bar mitzvahs, or I don't know what he does to make his money on the weekends. But he gets 3 jobs a weekend. That's $400 a piece. He supplies all the music and the program, and he's got a microphone, and he does the whole thing, the whole show he does, and it costs $400. 4 hours work. $100 an hour. And they ripped him because he paid in cash. It's your word against theirs. And if they can stick $100 in their pocket on their word, you're out $100 because it's your word against theirs. And then they go through this big spiel. Oh, you're calling me a thief? Oh, you saying I stole from you? Everybody raise their voice so everybody can hear and all that stuff. I said, you hoodwinking crook. He says, why are you calling me names? He says, I called you what you are, a hoodwinking crook. Took $100 from me. Neighbors. I counted out 3 piles. 2 50s in each pile. That's $300. And I looked him in the face and I said, here you go. There's $300. How much more? And he goes, $68 more. So I gave him $72 tip. Then I said, oh, I forgot something. And I left my wallet there with all my money under it and the pile of money that I was paying for my Casario organ that I was buying. And I had some trade in, so I only owed $368. But this guy's scheming, tattoos all over his body, long black hair with black fingernails, and he's the assistant manager. And I says, well, wait a second, I'll be right back. And I went, I looked for a tuner. I come back and I look at him, he's got his eye cocked, and he looks at me and goes, you're $100 short. I says, what are you talking about? I just counted out to you. Only $368, he's telling me I'm $100 short. Where's this guy coming from? So I said, how do you figure that? He says, those last two bills you put down weren't 50s, they were 20s. Thinking that I'm stoned, and I might have made a mistake or something. I wasn't stoned. I just got a long beard, that's all. I'm not stoned right now. Think I'm stoned because I got a long beard, long hair? I don't do drugs. I do everything legal. If I take anything, it's all legal, and the law is behind me. I got all prescriptions for everything that I take. I got spinal stenosis. I shrunk from 5'10" to 5'7.5". So I know what's going on. We're being scanned by a bunch of crooks out there who don't have any moral responsibility. Because that's what we're bringing up, people. When you take religion away from the people, this is what you get. A bunch of crooks. A bunch of hoodwinking crooks taking you for your money. So I call, and I got the policeman there, and he says, he walks me to the door after he tells me, if you come back in here, I'll have to arrest you. Because the guy kicked me out, right? The general manager. After I spent $6,000 there. What about all my warranties now? So they stole from me, I got to pay. And they got a digital record of it. And they're not coming up with it. So anyways, I go to the door, and he goes, and he says, now, is there anything else you need or anything else you want to say? I says, not that I can think of. He says, okay. He walks out to his car, his cop car, and I walk out to mine. And then I sit in my car, and I wasn't paying attention to what he was doing, I'm sitting in my car, and he says, now, what else could I tell? Oh, yeah, the guy that they stole from just before me, the $100 they got from him. If they can get that guy, then they'll have two people tell them that they were stolen from. One right after the other. So I went back, and I opened up the door, and this voice, this consciousness voice, my subconsciousness said, don't go back in there, Billy. Because the cop wasn't in. I went to the cop car to tell him, get the other guy. Find the other guy and find out who he is. They wouldn't give me his name. He's a DJ there. He goes there all the time. They wouldn't give me his name because they associated that I saw that they stole 100 from him, and they stole 100 from me, and I saw that. So they wouldn't give me his name. So I went back to tell the cop, patrolman. I went to open the door, and his voice said, don't go in there, Billy. Because he wasn't in his car. He went back into the store. Oh, for what? I don't know. Because he saw me thinking while I was in the truck and everything. I'm thinking, what else could I tell him? So he went back in the store and waited there. I don't know what he was doing in there. But he waited in the store, and I wouldn't come out to his car. So I went, opened up the door, I was going to go back in. And his voice said, don't go back in there, Billy. He'll arrest you. You're disobeying a direct order from a police officer. Oh. So I closed the door, turned around, got in my truck, and left with my amplifier that they tried to steal off me, $800. But if I go back there, I'm going to be arrested by the Johnson City Police. And I didn't do nothing wrong. They're the ones that are the crooks. The Guitar Center is the one that's the crooks. The ones that stole from me. Why would I lie? I go to church every single week. Every day, just about, almost. I go to Mass. Say the rosary all the time. I try to live a good, honest life. And then this happens to me. And who gets blamed? Well, who got blamed, people? I got blamed for something I didn't do. A bunch of narcissists attacked me back, made it look like I was the one at fault, rather than them. He's calling me a thief. He's calling me a crook. A hoodwinking crook, I call him. He's calling me names. It was the complaint of assistant manager, the assistant manager. The assistant was training another assistant in case he had to leave. There could be another assistant manager taking care at minimum wage. All these assistant managers at minimum wage. I got one guy stealing a guitar, my guitar that I have now. And about ready to stick it in the back of his trunk, too. Because I was in there looking all over the walls and everything. And I need a good acoustic guitar, electric and everything, too. You know, I'm looking for an expensive one, you know. I want a good guitar. And the guy's looking, and he thinks for a minute, and he says, I know where there's one. I said, well, what do you mean by that? Because they weren't up on the wall or anything. He says, I was going to buy it. And so I stored it in the back room. I got it in the back in a suitcase, in a guitar case. Up against, you know, how many hundreds of guitar cases are back there? Nobody would even suspect that there was a guitar in one of the cases. But he knew where that case was. He went back, brought the guitar up, beautiful guitar, D'Angelica. It's called the Angelica guitar. I said, that's it, I want that. So I bought it. But he had it in the back in a suitcase because he said he was going to buy it on minimum wage, $2,000. Yeah, right. You were waiting until you're in charge because you're assistant manager, and when you're in charge, they don't have cameras. You're going to stick that in your trunk, and they're out $2,000, and there's no way to prove it. Yep, that's how they got $45 million in debt. You start hiring musicians, they don't have a cent. They're poor. Most of them are, unless they're rock stars and, you know, they're making big money. But most musicians are poor. They don't have any money. And then you hire them because they know how to play the guitar so they can sell guitars, right? So you pick up a guitar and they tune it right in front of you and they start playing it. And, oh, yeah, I like that. That's what they're looking for. But most of those guys, they're hoodwinkers. They steal. And you hire them. And then you go to dinner with your family or something and leave them in charge. And guess what? What happened to that guitar that was sitting in that case in the back of the store? And now he's in charge. He's the manager. He's the one running the store. And there's no cameras. That's how they lost $45 million. They were in the red, $45 million from thieves. Hiring thieves, and they steal you blind. Somehow they're going to give you a guitar or get something that's worth it. Stick it in their pocket, whatever. That's how they got it. They were going in the hole, and then they joined up with another company. I don't know what happened to them now. I don't even know if they're going to stay. I expect to see gone on a business sign in front of their thing because there are a bunch of crooks over there. They're going to get caught. How many people got to complain before they get caught? The one guy that they took for $1,200, I don't think he claims taxes or anything, so he didn't say much. He just paid the $100 and left. Probably not going to go back there either. But these new people that they hired are scammers, $100 scammers. You deal with cash, and you got a beard and a mustache, you're out $100 if you turn your back. Look out. That's what they do. I hope this video goes viral. So all the music stores, and you go to any music store and you deal with cash, forget it. Don't deal with cash in a music store, because you got a bunch of thieves in there looking to get it. Oh, I learned my lesson there. No more cash, no more trusting, no more honesty, trusting. I left my pile there with my wallet on it, a pile of money with my wallet on top of it, and the money that I was going to buy the Crusario piano organ. I had in a pile, all counted out to him. He agreed that I had the right money there and everything. And I says, oh, I got to go get a tuner. And I went back, got a tuner, came back, and he's looking at me. He says, oh, you're $100 short. I says, how do you figure that? Those were 220s. They weren't 250s. The last pile you put down. I says, well, and immediately I added things up, and I says, because these guys are dumb. I worked with them for 5 years, 6 years with BOSI's. Felony offending crooks. Thieves, they'll chop your leg off. Turn your back, you offended them, they'll chop your leg off. I saw them do it. They did it to a BOSI's employee. They chopped his leg off with a hockey stick. Hit him in the back of the leg. He lost his leg. Nothing you can do about it. Kicked in the shins. How many times have I been kicked in the shins working with those kids? Where do they? What families do they come from? Who brings these people up? No morals, nothing. No conscience. No conscience about hurting somebody or taking their money or something. Especially if you're old, like me, 76 almost. I got dementia too, a little bit of it. Short-term dementia. In other words, I forget about picking up a screwdriver. When I went to the room to get a screwdriver, I forgot what I went to the room for. That type of memory loss. But long-term memory loss, I don't have any problems at all. Especially if it's something that is traumatic on me as this, I don't forget a thing. So I almost go back in there. If I would have been back in there, he's standing there, and he would have said to me, I told you not to come back in here. Get on the floor, put your hands behind your back, you're under arrest. What could have I done? Nothing. I was the one being crooked, and I get arrested. So God saved me from that, at least. Gave me the wisdom to see what happened. But the 220s, if those were 220s in the pile instead of 250s, I wouldn't have been $100 short. I got $100 short in his head because he was stoned probably when he took the 250s and put them in his pocket, and then went over to my other pile and got 220s and put them in place. He says, oh, you're $100 short. He forgot to subtract the 220s from the 250s he's put in his pocket. I would have been $100 short. I'd only been $60 short. Think about it, people. They'll cut their throat every time, these kids. These young punks. I've had them show up. I had a good friend of mine, I got a job at BOSI's, and they showed up to his house with a 45. Gun! Handgun! We're not dealing with innocent children. We're dealing with adult men now that are hoodwinking crooks, and they're getting jobs. And if you deal with cash, they're going to steal from you every time. They know every game out there. So that's how that ended up. I had to leave looking down, and I'm the one to blame. Yeah, right. I wasn't to blame. I was there in good faith and trusting. They took my trust away. I can't trust nobody anymore, especially with cash. I watch everything now. That's just some of the complaints I have. That's what happens in the world today, people. You're bringing up our children without any moral values. And what are they doing? They're causing chaos. They're going to cause a genocide in the United States. Watch and see. Too many people doing it. We got our laws against God's laws. We're killing our babies. Now we're perverting our babies. Going to orphanages and bringing them home. They just caught 2 guys, gave them 100 years apiece for making porn videos. Went to an orphanage and adopted a child, brought it home, made porn videos with it. Got a lot of money for it, too. And they caught him. They gave him each 100 years. Big deal. They'll get off for good behavior. But they don't want to get off because they'll be inside that jail with all them other fags. All you're doing is put a fag into a castle. Oh, yeah, put me in jail. I'm homo. I'm a homo. Put me in jail. That's what they do. I look forward to going to jail. And this world is screwed up, people. This world is getting sicker and sicker. Now Putin is talking about pushing the button. If he uses nuclear, if they don't concede, I don't know what the news is now. The last I heard is Putin from Russia is saying if they don't concede, we're going to push the button on them. We're going to use nuclear. Well, if they do that, that's the end of the world, people. That's the end of the world because we won't put up with it. There's still enough people that are fearful about being taken over. But it's not going to be taken. We're not going to be taken over by Russia or China or anything like that. They're just going to come in and absorb us. Absorb. They come in and they buy all of our businesses, then take our arbitration, put arbitration. If you have a dispute, you have to agree to arbitration if you buy from them. You can't take them to court anymore and put your case, get your money back. And what gets me is like the judges are wiping their foreheads with a hanky saying, thank goodness for arbitration, man. Because we had a backload there constantly. Court, bunch of crooks out there. But now they solved that. They gave the foreign countries arbitration rights, took our rights away. We can't take them to court, sue them anymore. We have to go by their decision. And I was over a Bible. I got involved in an arbitration case with PayPal. They sent me the Bible. They said, I said, where's the tracking slip? They didn't even offer a tracking slip. They said, they sent you the Bible, you owe them the money, that's their decision. And that's what PayPal said, and they hung up. We're being taken over by foreign countries, people. They're coming in and buying our businesses, taking our court rights away, and substituting arbitration. There you go. That's what's happening in the United States. And everybody's got their nose in their phone, porn, and all kinds of corruption. They're not paying attention. All they do is got their nose in their phone. I was in a dentist, 6 people sitting there, looking for somebody to talk to. I'm waiting for my dental appointment to start taking effect. I was looking for somebody, because you always run into people. Oh, you're related. Who you related? How long you lived here? Where do you live? You get to know their last name, and then you say, oh, they must be related to me. I know them people. You can't do that anymore, because everybody's sitting in there. All 6 people that were sitting there for my dentist appointment had their nose in their phones. And don't bother me. I'm working right now. I got a dentist appointment, but I'm working. Don't bother me. If you want to talk to them, and try to see if you can talk to them. No, I'm busy right now. And they're in their phone. This piece of technology can be used for good, but mostly it's being used for bad. Pornography is one of them. Pornography is the highest it's ever been because of these phones. And you can get a guy, he belongs to a porn place, and they send him porn all the time. He's got a written agreement that the company can send porn to his phone number. So he decides that he's not going to be with that phone company anymore, and he changes his phone number, he puts it in. And they take the phone number back, and they put it on the shelf for a couple of years, you know. And then you want to buy your child a phone. So you give your child a phone, and they give him a phone number. And the kid's watching cartoons and everything on it and everything. And all of a sudden he gets porn. Oh, what's this? Oh, wow, look at the boobs on that. Goes to school, shows all of his friends. Doesn't tell his mom and dad because they'll take the phone away from him. Oh, now you got what? Perversion. Perverts. Phone companies are perverting the children. They give them phone numbers that some scumbag moron head was a member of some scumbag porn place. Probably member of all over the United States or all over the world. That phone number's out there, and your kid's got it now. 2 years later, they shelve it. Oh, we know there's no way that we can tell where that phone number's been. Bull crap. Because if the judge orders a written record of what that phone's done, you got to come up with it. Yeah. So that's bull crap. They don't know where that phone number's been. What agreements? They have an agreement. It's like a contract. You make a contract with a porn place, they can send you porn. They got your phone number. But when you trade your phone back in, and you don't tell the porn companies that you're no longer at that number, they start sending out their crap on that phone number. And who's got the phone number? Your child you just gave a phone to. He's got a new phone number now. He's watching cartoons and everything, and all of a sudden porn comes on. And immediately, he's at school showing all of his buddies. So now you corrupted the whole school. Making them laws. Pornography. It's okay. Perverts. Gave the perverts their rights. We got rights. We love men. Women love women. Yeah. Well, they do. And God doesn't have anything against that. You love your brother, you love your sister and stuff. And the only thing he's got something about it is if you're pickle smooching or not. If you're pickle smooching with your tongue down another man's throat, that's not love, that's lust. And God has nothing for that. He turns his head from that. Yuck, I don't want to know about it. No, we have our rights. I can live my life the way I want to live it. I can pervert whoever I want to pervert. I can get a 9-year-old husband if I want now. That's what it's trying to do. That's what Muslims did. Had 9-year-old wives. Their founder there, or whoever, Muhammad or whoever it was, he had wives and they were only 9 years old. They had a pervert in there as their leader for their religion. And they were too stupid to see it. Or they were hoodwinked, brainwashed, fly that plane into that building, and if you kill 300, or if you kill 300 people or 3,000 people, you killed infidels. You killed 3,000 infidels, there'll be 17 virgins waiting for you in heaven when you get there. If you fly your plane into that building. They've been hoodwinked. There's no lust in heaven. There's no sex in heaven. God doesn't have sex in heaven. Sex is for his creation on earth. But we die to that, and we're born in eternal life. We're not still going to be pounding the pud when we get to heaven, people. There is no lust in heaven. So you got hoodwinked Muslims, and I'm from Muslim heritage. I'm an Arab. I'm Sicilian, and Arabs owned Sicily for what? From 900 to 1100 AD. They were in there. You weren't a Muslim, you got your head chopped off. Or you were exiled to another country or put in jail or whatever. They had complete control. That's how bad it can get out of sequences of peace and harmony, tranquility, and all that stuff. I mean, it's just an ideal. It's just a fantasy nowadays. And I don't care. That's antiquated thinking. You're not going to get 17 virgins. What are you going to do with 17 virgins in heaven when there's no sex? You got hoodwinked. You got lied to. So you can fly that plane into the building. I can't believe that they got enough sense to fly a plane and they still believe that crap. That if I fly the plane into the building, I'll have 17 virgins waiting for me when I get to heaven. How antiquated thinking is that? And I'm an Arab. I probably was a Muslim at one time. On my mother's side, she was Jewish. On my mother's side, her whole family and everything were all Jewish. But on my grandfather's side, he was a Sicilian, and they're from Sicily, and they're from North Africa, and that was occupied by the Arabs, 900 to 1100 AD. That's how that spread. And then their antiquated thinking. I can't believe that people had enough brains to fly a plane and they believe that they're going to go to heaven have 17 virgins if they kill the infidels into a big building they fly their plane into. That's how they hoodwink them. That's how stupid things can get people. You don't think that can happen in the United States of America? Being hoodwinked somehow? Well, abortion's one of them. 71 million since the law went in effect, 72. But China's, how many times? 7 times larger than us. Or even more than that. They killed 337 million babies with abortion because they weren't wanted. There was a time you couldn't have but one child. And if it wasn't a boy, you found out, you aborted it. And now they got all these boys, no girls. And now what are they doing? All the boys are coming to the United States looking for a girl. Or go to different countries looking for a woman. And they got all the money. And they went and hoodwinked us out of all of our patents and everything. They didn't pay a cent for them, stole all of our, beat us on the market because they were working for 50 cents an hour and we get $13 an hour. So it was a matter of time before they took that over and their material was inferior. But when they took over the market, they had enough money to buy good material now. They make good quality tools and everything else. Everything's of good quality. Look what they're doing with these spacecrafts or whatever they are. And that big thing on the East Coast, all these spacecrafts out. And I don't know what happened there. I was going to get in touch with somebody, find out what happened to all that. Why did that all of a sudden nobody's talking about no more with all those flying objects on the East Coast or all over the place spying on us? What happened to that? I'm going to find out. And then I'll probably die. And everything I fought for and all that stuff down the tubes. And you're just going to inherit what you inherit. And what do you inherit when you spread? When you spread murder and perversion, what do you inherit? A genocide. And that's what's going to happen. We're not going to be taken over by foreign countries, even though we are with our businesses and everything. They're not going to come over and take us over. We're going to be absorbed by them because of this. All this stuff that's going down, we're going to just be absorbed by a 4,000-year-old culture that got 1 billion people more than us. They got 1,300,000,000 in China. 300 million is what we have in the United States. They got 1 billion more people. And you don't think you go to war with them and you kill off their soldiers. They got 1 billion people. They just put more soldiers in there. Just like you got more soldiers now. You kill them off. They put twice as many soldiers back in. They got 1 billion people. And so doesn't India. So how do you fight it? How do you fight it? Nothing you can do. You die. And it's in God's hands. But there used to be a time where, there was justice. You can feel confident. You can go to court. And the law will be on your side rather than on the business side. Everybody looks, well, how much do they donate to I ran for Supreme Court Justice or something like that. How many people are backing that? What businesses? I got to watch all of the businesses. It's like the Guitar Center. They patrol that every night, looking for crooks breaking in and stealing the musical equipment. So they're in defense of the Guitar Center. And when the Guitar Center, you bring a cop in because you got ripped off by a bunch of crooks they hired. The guy probably hired, maybe the general manager he was out to dinner with his parents, he was mommy and daddy and all that stuff. He probably didn't even know what he hired. Hired 2 crooks in there, 2 hoodwinking crooks. And one hoodwinker, his assistant, was training another one to be his assistant. In other words, the hoodwinking assistant was training another hoodwinker. And he's training them right, because every time he steals $100, he gets 50 of it. Again, there's nothing they can do. Till there's just too many complaints, or somebody flies off the handle and causes physical harm. And you get a guy on drugs, and he's going through a lot of emotional stress and everything. Maybe his wife just died, or his child died, or somebody got put in jail, and he just got out of jail. He's on the edge. And you pull that crap on him, that $100 scam. What's he going to do? He's going to kill somebody. And there's where it gets out of hand. Like they did to my assistant. He was a monitor. If a kid misbehaved in my class, I called the monitor, and he came and got him, screaming and kicking and everything else, and drug him down to timeout, and let him spend some time in there. One kid, clinical psychiatrist, where we had one of his boy in there. He was a real mental case for some reason. And he kicked me in the shins. I don't know how many. And we put him in timeout, and he said, I got to go to the bathroom. So we let him go to the bathroom. And he come back, and he smelled the smell after he came back. Because they have cigarette privileges there, smoking rights and all that stuff. They got matches. So he comes back to his cell that we put him in. It's a wooden 4x8 sheet painted pink little cell. You put them in and let them sit there for a while until they cool down and let them go back to learning in their classroom. So he goes to the bathroom, he comes back, and we smell the smell. We go there. We go in there, we look in his cell, and he had stuffed his pockets with toilet paper. And he took the toilet paper out and he shoved it in the corners of his cell. And then he lit it on fire. We had all we could do to put the darn fire out. And that's from a child coming from a clinical psychiatrist. It's his child. I'm not revealing anybody's names or anything. I'm just trying to say this is what happened. And I'm starting to doze out, so I gotta that's it. Okay, well, I was gonna sing, so I'll put it on pause. Just missed all that. Yeah, you just missed. I just had some good reasoning. I forgot to push the button. I forgot. I forget a lot. When I'm 76, you forget. Short term. If it's got trauma or something involved with it, I never forget it. I got that type of dementia, short-term dementia. In other words, I got to have a tool, and I go into another room looking for it. And I spend a minute in there looking around, and you say, "What are you looking for, Bill?" And you say to yourself, "I don't know. Why am I in here looking around?" Then you got to go back to the job that you need a tool for to find out what you were doing in the room when you try to think about why am I here. I'm here to get a screwdriver. I need a screwdriver in my other job in the other room, but I can't remember. I need a screwdriver. That's short-term memory loss. Signs of dementia. If it gets real bad, they lock you up. So I go and fight a war, come back a decorated war veteran. Bronze medal of bravery. Decorated war veteran. You come back to this crap. All these hoodwinkers. And they're younger now. They're brought up with not going to church. No sense of morality. I'm not saying it's happening to everybody in the United States, but there's a big majority of people. I think it's a majority that are turning their backs to God. Once the majority turns its back to God, then we're living according to our own desires. Well, I want to be able to watch porn on a telephone, or I want to watch porn on my TV, or I want to have it come in the mail, or what. And I don't want there to be any laws keeping it from doing it, being able to do that. I'm so tired. I fell asleep right now. I'm just pooped. I don't get any sleep. I have narcolepsy. And I have no medication for it. Modafinil, if you take that, I got Steven Johnson syndrome. Taking modafinil. Sometimes it just gets so bad when I gotta stay awake. I find that modafinil and I take a half a pill or something just to keep me awake a little bit. But I need something. I need something to keep me awake, to give me energy, to make me so I can move around and do things. But then I gotta have something that takes care of the pain too. I got spinal stenosis. I got pain in my back. I've shrunk to 5'7". I was 5'10" and almost 5'11", 5'10" and 3/4. Oh, I was 5'9" and 3/4. Almost 5'10". And now I'm 5'7.5". I don't know how you subtract all that, but yeah, I can go to sleep. That's for sure. Well, libation. Look, you can't even get a drink nowadays without there's something screwed up with your design of the bottle. They put this gold stuff around the top so when you break the seal, it gets into your drink. Look, there's a piece of it right there. I just swallowed it. I caught it before it went down. See it? Yeah, see it. I don't know if you can see it or not. This was in my drink. There's a piece of the gold that's around the top of this bottle. Welch's sparkling red grape juice. Delicious. But this is the first time this has happened to me. I've swallowed some of it. I almost just swallowed this. Who monitors that stuff? Who do you complain to about that? Against the big company Welch's with a delicious drink. But what they're doing with this gold stuff, putting it around, you got silver ones too. You break the seal, and then this shit gets into your drink. I don't know if there's any more in there. Shit. This stuff is delicious. Welch's grape drink. It's all pure grape. There's grape, a red grape. This is 100% on there, I think. Can't see it. Non-alcoholic juice concentrate. It's like a root beer. It's got the fizz and everything in it. But it's not like, it doesn't taste like root beer. It tastes like grape juice, you know? It's delicious. I buy 4 bottles. I buy 6 bottles of it for the week. Because this bottle will last me a day and a half or whatever. I just use it to sip out of when I need libation after I've been singing or if I'm doing something, talking or whatever. And I get something and give me a... Excuse me for being a belcher. But man, this stuff is good. I'm hooked on it. Yeah, Welch's sparkling red grape, non-alcoholic grape drink. Man, whew, it can't get better. And then there's others besides Welch's that put out the same type of drink. Because I've drank some of them. They taste different. They have a different grape taste and all that stuff to them. They don't taste the same. And then some of them don't have the fizz in it either. They put carbonated fizz in it. It's like drinking a bottle of Coca-Cola or something like that, you know. But it's grape juice. It's good for you. That's my drink. It's sweet, though. It's all 100%. It's all natural. No sugar added, I don't think. Of course, I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read what's going on here. But absolutely, what did it say? Absolutely, right. Absolutely, no high. I can't read it. Here, let me see. Come on now. I just gotta go through this just for this. And watch, I'll drop the bottle all over me and go all over me or something. Jeez. Absolutely no high fructose corn syrup, artificial colors, artificial sweeteners, or preservatives. Absolutely no. Serve well chilled, pasteurized. Refrigerate after opening. I drink it all in 24 hours, so I don't, it just stays by my couch whenever I want. See, I'm talking too much and not taking a deep enough breath, and I start hiccuping. It does it to me all the time when I talk like this. But, there's deposit on the bottle, too. New York's one of them, 10 cents. I get 10 cents for this bottle. Not a nickel. And 40% juice. Nutrition facts. 40% of it's juice. The others, I don't know what the other percent is. Sodium, none. Total fats, none. Uh, uh, Carbonate. What does it say? Total carbureted. It says something like 10%. Well, anyways, that's the drink I've been drinking. And like I say, there's other manufacturers of this grape juice. I didn't realize it was only 40%. I thought it was 100% pure. Huh, I didn't know that. I didn't see that. 40% juice. Nutrition facts. 8 fluid ounces. Okay, well, 240 mil. I don't know, that mil stuff and the ounces and, the measurements from overseas and the United States, we just stuck to our guns, we do everything inch. Over there it's meters or something like that. I still don't know that. A liter, how much is a liter? Is it close to a quart? I don't know. I'm 75 years old, man. I don't go for that overseas. Now, if you're overseas, they're not going to say, give me a quart. What do you mean a quart? I mean a quart of that beer over there. So they don't go by that. You got to go how many meters you want. I don't know. Anyways. Well, to put the long story short, we got to get rid of arbitration. Arbitration, especially when it's dealing with big money, warranties and all that stuff, you got to arbitrate for it. That's the foreign business's way of getting out from our court system, people. Don't you see that? That's what's happening to the United States. We're being taken over by foreign countries because we're letting them into our businesses. Business comes in, foreign country business comes in, hoodwinks you, and when you bring the police in, they point at you and say, I don't want him back in this store. You know what? They gotta follow the police. What the business wants, not what the individual wants with the beard and the mustache. And his beard and mustache, big disadvantage when people look at you in the United States. You're going to be, well, lately, I don't know, there's people like me out there. I was always clean cut, no beard, mustache. I've got pictures of me. Ah, man. I don't look anything like this. And I was like that for many years. I had my own business. I was a broker, a real estate broker. I had to deal with people. I had to have a suit and a tie, clean cut, watch my language, everything, Not be a drunk or show up out in left field on drugs or something. I don't do any of that stuff. But I did, because of my spinal stenosis and opioids I was taking, I looked for something different. And they had this new program called liquid marijuana. And New York State's running the program. I've been a member of it for 3 years now. My 3rd year. Have I taken any today? No, not yet. Maybe I should have, and I wouldn't have flew off the handle like I did over this hoodwinking crap going on. Stealing from me. Nothing you can do about it. It's your word against theirs. Here I go, another hour and a half. What was that sound? Is there gonna somebody come on the property? Sue, what was that sound? Is somebody on our property? If they are, there'll be a knock at the door. I got ADT, which I have to get with them. They pulled one on me. I had ADT installed, and I had my tree cut down in front of the house, next to my neighbor's house, and a big maple, heavy maple tree. That wood is really good wood, strong wood. It's hardwood. I had it taken down. And I had my cameras from ADT pointing at it, one of my cameras, watching it being, while I was sitting in here watching the guy take the tree down. I'm too old to do that stuff, so I hired somebody. So he took it down. I left my cameras there. I forgot to put them back on where they were supposed to go, so I left my cameras on him taking the tree down. After the tree was down, I didn't replace the camera back on where it was supposed to be. I forgot. I left it there. So 2:30 in the morning, I wake up. I went, well, I wanted to see what my property looked like and everything. So turn on my phone and the camera that I had pointing at the tree. Guess what was there? A drone. Some type of a drone or whatever it was, looking in my window at 2:30 in the morning. I called up the sheriff's department. I couldn't get anybody. I couldn't get AET. Nobody. They didn't show me how to take a picture of it. I could have took a picture of it. But know what their excuse was? Because they got that video. I know they do. That's my no way I can prove it, but I know they got that video. The video of the object that was hovering in my camera. Now, if I was looking at it now, I see, okay, the object would have been here, and it slowly moved up out of my sight. Now, if they would have showed me when I paid them, I didn't pay them yet, but how the system worked, I could have took a picture of that there. A picture. But I thought ADT was filming it. As I was leaving my screen, I called ADT up. I said, come over here. I only got 7 days. You got to get this. Because I already called in the police station, the sheriff's department. So they sent the guy over. guy looks through my thing. There's no video of anything being on your property 2:30 in the morning. I said, you gotta be kidding me. He says, well, how fast was it moving? I said, well, it was, I demonstrate. He says, well, that's the reason why our cameras didn't pick it up. It's moving in slow motion. We don't pick up things. You gotta be plunkety-plunk, like a human being walking, or a cow or a dog or whatever, or a bear or whatever, will be picked up from the ADT cameras. But if it's moving slow, it don't pick it up, is what they told me. And if they would have told me how to take a picture of it, I would have had a picture of it, and then there would have been no questions at all. But now all it is my word. I called into the sheriff's department. They're having me investigated, thinking something wrong with me. A drone looking in my window at 2:30 in the morning. And I bring them over, and they said, oh, we can. I said, you guys are got to be hoodwinking me. That money, that film is worth a lot of money if that was a spaceship looking in my window. Or a drone or whatever. Because they could sell it on the market overseas to 8 billion other people. Saying, here's what some American saw in his backyard at 2:30 in the morning. And show the thing and sell it. Knock me out of the scene. I don't get nothing. They get it. That's marketable. It's overseas. Another market that you'll never see it. They never even knew it was on the videos. They did that to my brother Mike. He knocked out the African champion in the 5th round. And they stole the video and didn't show it wouldn't show it on TV or anything, because here's a white Irishman coming into Africa and knocking out their middleweight champion. They didn't want nobody to know about that. So they stole the video. And that's the same thing that's happening here. The video was stolen, I believe. They say, well, we can't film something that moves. So I come in and I mosey in and I slowly move into the property. And I come in and I see a chainsaw there. So I pick it up and I slowly turn around and I slowly move off the property. The cameras aren't going to catch me, huh? That's some hoodwinking bullcrap lie. They're going to see that. That's why I want my video. Either that or I am being surveyed by the police. And they could put an order out. Because I called them. They're going to be the first ones to know. If they're the ones investigating me, they're going to be the first one to know that I know they're investigating me. Because I called them up. And I haven't seen one out there since. I called them up, told them at 2:30 in the morning there was a drone looking at my window. I said, I'm going to get the ADT to come in here and give me and I'll send it in. I just want to do a verbal report right now. Okay, we'll be waiting. Then they come over and, that wasn't copied because we don't do things in slow motion. And I just explained to you why I think it's a bunch of crap. Hoodwinking crap. They've got that film. That was an object looking in my window at 2:30 in the morning. What was it? And I couldn't hear the wings. It wasn't a drone, because you could hear the wings on a drone. It wasn't a drone. It was just something there. And it blinked its lights at me. Like that. When I saw it, on the screen, and it looks up and it's looking at it and goes, telling me to turn on my lights. Because they must have been here the night before or several nights before. I have this figure 8 light great big. It's on the front of my fence. And then in the back, I have this, it starts there and it goes around and around and around and around and big and different colors. And the colors change. I got those tapes, they cost $70 because I want to do something special for my front fence. So that hovering object was hovering over my fence, looking at my lights on the front of my fence. And they weren't on. So that's why I think he flashed his lights like he went, like, turn on your lights. We want to see your lights. I didn't do. I didn't think about it when they flashed their lights at me. I realized that the lights were off on my front fence because there was complaints by the neighbors and all that stuff, hurting the dog's eyes and all that stuff. Oh, you wouldn't believe what I went through here. Jeepers. People across the street, they moved. They moved after what happened. I put my lights up, and they blinked. They were blinking on the front of my fence. Which is across the street from them. It's Christmas time. I can put the lights up. He says, "Oh, you got to turn them lights off. They're hurting my dog's eyes. He can't look out the front window. He squeals and runs away from the window. And he doesn't know what the flashing lights are in front. You got to turn them off." I says, "Get out. I'm not turning off my Christmas lights for your dog. Close the window, man, so he can't see out the window at night if it's doing that to him. Taking away my privileges of having Christmas lights out." So we got in a big argument about it. They called the cops on me. Cops came. They says, "Nothing we can do about it. It's his rights. He can have Christmas lights." So she's giving me a hassle and everything. So I wouldn't talk to her after that. In other words, she came out. She wanted tell me some other things that she wanted me to do on my property that were bothering her. And I just ignored her. And I did that for about, a month. They moved. Yeah. And what does it say? If you what? The devil, he'll flee. If you ignore the devil, he'll flee. And that's what they did. They moved out. Now it's vacant over there. I don't know the real reason why they moved out. Maybe it wasn't over me. Who knows? Because the house up the street, which didn't sell for $30,000 with HUD, went for $200,000 because it went in a bidding war from people in New York City. Couldn't believe they can get out of New York City in a good school district in a nice house next to woods for only $200,000. Only. When the place wouldn't even sell for $30,000 on the HUD program. When I had my trailers on the street. I had 2 trailers on the street when I first moved here. 48 years ago or whatever it is, 1980. 45 years ago, something like that. I had 2 trailers on the street. Nobody could sell their houses. All the houses that were on the street wouldn't even sell for 60, 59, 58, they wouldn't sell. Then I took the trailer off the street. One, built my house, and then I bought the trailer next. She went in the nursing home, and I brought her trailer. I took that off the street. Everybody's house went up $100,000, $100,000. The guy up the end of the street has a 2-story. He was worried about getting $100,000 out of it. It's a nice 2-story too. He got $250,000 for it a couple months ago. Once I took all the trailers off the street, and now we got a nice residential street and a nice school district, low taxes, everything. And get out of New York City for under $200,000. People are frothing at the bit to do that. especially if they're old enough to retire. And they're looking all over for someplace like that. So the two houses up the end of the street here, one was a HUD home, didn't go for 30 grand, couldn't even say had to give it away almost when I had the two trailers on the street. When I took two trailers off the street, somebody bought it. And then they died or something, moved out, and it's vacant again. So it went up on the market, and I got in a bid more from New York. And it went up to $185,000 before somebody let in. Somebody got it for $185,000. That house wouldn't go for $30,000 when I had my trailers on the street. And now they're all complaining to me that my grass is too high. All the new people that moved in are criticizing me because I have a big fence up around my place. And on the front of the fence, my grass and all my plants and everything that I have grown that they're calling weeds because they have crew cuts. Everybody on the street has a crew cut lawn. No plants. And if they do have plants in front of their house because it's a garden, they call it a garden. I'm calling it not a garden because they're growing illegal stuff in it. I could get them good for it too, but I didn't go and call the cops on them like they did me. They call this the town on me. So the town comes in. So the one person complained about my lights were blinking. So they said there's nothing you can do about them. But then they came up with this law about a month later that extension cords can't be out in front of the house more than 100 feet long or stuff permanent like that. Keep your lights on. It has to be professionally installed electrical going out to the front fence. I says, then everybody during Christmas time or the holidays can't put their lights out anymore, right? The guy looks at me. Because they're trying to make me put electric out to the front of my fence, so all I have to do is plug in out there. What's the difference? I got a big, huge extension cord, 100 feet long, made for the outdoors, construction and all that, running out there that I plug into to run my lights. And I don't run my lights all the time, only on special occasions, holidays. So they complained about that. And then the other ones complained about a corn cob I threw out to the crows. Oh, you're feeding the crows now? I mean, we're going to have them cawing and everything around here now because you're feeding the crows? Well, they've always been around here cawing. You know, I like crows. They're one of the most smartest birds out in the bird world. They say that they got the intelligence of a small child. So I don't care about crows. And then if you don't feed them, they caw a little bit. They go, caw, caw, come on, get some food out here. Come on. I feed them cracked corn. I got piles of it, and feeders and stuff. They come down and they eat it. Sometimes I throw it out in the road. They come down and peck it and stuff. Neighbors don't like it. I can't live my life on my own street. I've been here 45 years, and they just moved in. Now they're telling me what to do. That's what's very irritating. And now the town, because of all of them complaining, now the town's taking their position, and they're coming in and looking for things that they can get me for. Well, I told them, I says, you go ahead and do it. Because when I get in front of court, I'm going to tell them how you ripped off the public with a deal on the hill in the back of our house, in the back of my house. All the oak that was on top of that hill was mine. The guy wanted to sell me the whole thing for $30,000. He was an old man. He knew I was a veteran. He said, I'll sell you that whole hill back there, 50 acres, $30,000, $300 a month. I went to the town and I said to him, I says, town Shenango now can I cut down some of the trees and build a house and stuff? No, you can't. It's in city limits. You can't cut trees in city limits. Because they had it all designated with roads and everything, which they could never do because the water level was 1.5 feet below grade. And every time they put a road in, there was water. So they couldn't build up there. But they still had it designated as town, city. Can't cut trees in the city. Shenango Bridge, that is. Town of Shenango. Can't cut trees in town of Shenango. Commercially. To build or whatever. So I let it slide. I told him, well, I'm not going to pay taxes on something I can't cut trees down off of. Because they had oak trees up there. I couldn't even put my arms around them. And there was rolls and rolls and rolls of them up there. Somebody had planted years and years and years ago. This little old man had been paying his taxes on it. Paying the taxes on this property for years. And then he saw the veterans came in. I was looking for properties. I'll sell it to you. He was looking for a paycheck every month, $300 a month. He's a little old man. It's a lot of money for a little old man. So I took it to the town, and they said, no, you can't cut trees or anything up there. I said, well, I'm not going to pay taxes on something I can't use, so I didn't take the deal. So a guy comes in from Unadilla or Deposit or something. He's a logger. Worth a lot of money, too, because when he came in, he spotted it. He has surveyors and stuff. They spot land and then let him know. And he goes in and buys the land with the lumber on it. And he has it assessed how much lumber there is on it. I mean, he's a raper. He's a woods raper. He rapes the woods. So he found out about the property. He came in and gave the guy cash. Bought it. Then he went to the town and their variance committee and all that stuff and stood there with his eye cocked. He said, I own that property. You can't build up there or can't put roads or anything up there. I'm going to cut the trees off of it. Everybody just looked at him. He went, left, and he proceeded to cut all the trees off that hill, off the mountain in the back of my house. And chainsaws every day, chainsaws are going, and these trucks are coming down off the hill, rambling and roaming, and all these little kids are out in their front yard playing with the kitty cat and stuff, with all these big, huge lumber trucks coming down their road. Who knows if a log's going to fall off of them or not? Accidents do happen. A little kid sitting out in the front yard, I saw it happen, playing with her kitty cat. I said, how's he running these trucks right next to this little child sitting out in the front of the yard here? And he didn't give a shit. He made his own road. And he put a sewer system into it, kind of like as a drainage. And it backed up and flooded the whole area out up there on White Street, up around that area. Because he's bringing the logs off the hill. Cut down every tree that was big enough to make a baseball bat out of. In other words, if there was a tree and it was about this big around, big enough for baseball, it coming down and make a baseball bat. And so the guy down the corner, he's an old man. He says, Billy says, here's pictures of what this place looked like in the 30s, 1937, 39, somewhere around here. He says, this is where you live right now. And I says, how deep is that water? He says, that's about 6 foot deep right where you live, because there was no trees on that hill. And when it rained heavy, it came down and flooded the whole area out. And that's what he's going to do. This guy's going to cut down all the timber on that hill. Just rape it. And that's what he did until I got signatures. In the rain, my wife and I went to everybody and got signatures to stop him. I had 230 signatures or something on it. And that I submitted with pictures and everything to the variance committee. What he was doing up there. We had to have sheriffs show up with their guns drawn to get him off the hill. He wouldn't leave. He said, I'm going to cut, this is my property, this is my trees, I'm cutting them down, and nobody's going to do anything about it. With his eye cocked, because he's a millionaire. That's what he said to the committee, the Town of Shenango committee. So he did that. And then when I stopped him, when the community stopped him, and then the town was going to go after him for cutting the trees down. He says, here's what I'll do. I'll give you the property. He gave him the 50 acres. But he had stripped all the lumber off of it. First, about $300,000. What do you want to pay taxes on stripped mountain for? So he says, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to donate the land to the town. And they took it. Because each tree was $250 fine. I don't know how many hundreds of trees up there that he cut down. So he got it out cheaper. He says, I'll tell you what. He says, I got what I want, and you can have the land. So he gave him the land, and the town of Shenango took the payoff. They didn't go. I would have done this. I would have went in there and fined him for every tree that he cut down. And then if he still wanted to give us the property, that would have been a different story. But no, town of Shenango took the property as payoff, rather than try to get $250 and hire a logger, observer to go in there and assess how much lumber was taken off the top of that hill. I mean, I couldn't even put my hands around the oak that was up there. I used to sit underneath the trees with oak trees with the squirrels come down and eat all the nuts and everything off the oak trees. Acorns. It was just full of game and deer and everything up there. The little old man didn't know what he owned. He didn't know what he owned, and I didn't know what he owned. I was too young. I was only like 30 years old, 1980. I can't cut trees or anything. I said, I'm not paying taxes on a property that I can't cut trees on. So I let it slide. So this guy came in and stole it, raped it. He was a woods. He finds properties that have timber on it, and he goes and cuts it off. Cuts it out. And somebody became a millionaire. I could have been very wealthy if I would have took that deal off that little old man for $30,000. I didn't see it. I was just young, and I didn't know until after I became a broker, a real estate broker. I realized what had gone down. He just hoodwinked the whole town of Shenango. And when they came in to prosecute him and fine him $250 per tree he took down, he just says, I'll tell you what, I'll give you the property. 50 acres. Probably worth, I don't know, after it was stripped, I don't know what it was worth. Not even 30,000, probably 50 acres. 700 an acre or something like that. Bare land. I don't know what. Those are the old calculations. But he told the town, he said, here, I'm going to give you the property. And they didn't pursue him. They didn't fine him because they could have got $250 for each tree he cut down. But he gave them the property, so they let him slide. So he got $300,000 worth of timber and gave them a $30,000 property. Gave it. What good is it to him? What does he want with it after he stripped it? And we stopped him from coming down the hill because he was going to take every big tree. There was a lot of softwood up there, too. He was going to cut it all down, and it would have been a field again like it was back in the 30s. This was a farm at one time. No trees or anything. 30s. 100 years ago, just about. How many years ago? 30, 70, almost 100 years ago. So those oak trees up there, they loved it up there too. There's fields and everything. Everything lived up there. There's even bear up there. Deer. Man, this is back in the 80s now. So I got hoodwinked out of that, and this guy made out. And what he did is he took $300,000 off the hill and gave the town the money, and he says, "C'est la vie." He got out from being fined and a big hassle about everything because he has money. Money talks, bullshit walks. And that's what they thought about me. I'm a bunch of bullshit. Well, there it is on film, people. And I'm probably going to die here shortly anyways because I got COVID so bad. I've had it for 647 days or something like that I've had COVID. Since December the 8th, 2023. I got COVID, long COVID. I was delivered from COVID on December the 8th. I had it 14 days. I got it on November the 24th. COVID, positive. Now I got long COVID, coughing and choking and everything. If I think about it, I'll start coughing. I can't, because I'm talking. Libation. Take some libation. I think I'm going to get a sandwich or something, get something to eat. Talking on an empty stomach. But anyways, that's what happened. That's what happened. I'm going to keep this on, 2 hours? Woo. 1 hour and 52 minutes. Okay. All right, so that's the story that happened there. Now, why was I getting into all that? Where was I? See what I mean? That's dementia. I can't recall why I was telling you that story. The injustices that I've gone through since I moved here back to Binghamton. This is my hometown. You can't be somebody different in your hometown because they all know you from when you were a kid. And if you were wild, they got their opinion about you and it's not going to change. One guy said to me one time, he says, "I remember you were a street corner hood. You're a hood. You didn't even graduate from high school. You dropped out in high school." And I says, "Yeah." He says, "Yeah, you knew me back then. I was a 9th grade dropout back then, yeah. I guess I was a hood and stuff and everything. But what am I now? I got 2 4-year degrees and 1 2-year degree. What would you call me now?" Before I grew my hair and my mustache and all that stuff, I'm a hood again now compared, because that's the way the cops looked at me. If I would have said one thing wrong, that cop would have arrested me. Because when we walked into the place, on the guitar place center, we walked into the place, he says, "Let me do the talking." Because he didn't want me ranting and raving and all that stuff because of what the guy did. And that's how I lost my thought. I let him do all the talking, and I forgot to tell him about the other guy they ripped off for $100 an hour before me. Find that guy. And you'll see what I'm talking about, and how many other people that they did it to that haven't said anything about it. They just don't go back there anymore. So that's what's happening to decorated war veterans. You go and fight a war for freedom and you're right the day in court, they take it away with arbitration. Now you're just a peon again. And when they hoodwink you and you complain about it, and you bring the police in, they point at you and say, "I don't want him back in the store." And then the cops has to say to you, "If you come back in the store, I'll have to arrest you." What are you going to arrest me for? I didn't steal. They're the ones that are thieving. I couldn't say that to him, because then he would have been in opposition to me now. And Put me on the floor, put handcuffs on me. You wouldn't believe how the power that some of these cops float around on. Not saying the cops are bad. I suggest some of them are misinformed, or some of them think they got it all figured out and they don't. And they're protecting. What's he going to do? He's protecting the taxpayer. I'm just a long bearded hippie to him, complaining about how they ripped me off for $100. No proof. It's my word against theirs. But I would have had proof if they would have done it right, because it's all digitally photographed. The people that are in charge of the store don't know it, but the main office has digital cameras in there that transactions, all cash register transactions are filmed. So they know what happened to me. Nobody did anything about it. The only thing is God saw it. How am I going to be rewarded? Who knows if God will reward me or not. Maybe not in this life, maybe. Reward. Reward for honesty. Can't find honesty in the United States anymore. I can't. Maybe you can. Maybe some other people can. This guy's out in outer space. A lot of them are saying that people are honest. I know a lot of honest people. Well, good for you. I don't. And the reason why I don't mix with people is because I don't know who to trust. Especially when you're elderly. All them years of whatever they've been doing, and you're going to befriend them. And they haven't changed. They don't show any remorse for anything they do. And they're not religious. They're agnostics. And they're what do they call? Narcissists. Narcissists. You say that? Narcissist? Narcissist. That's what the society is turning into. It's like Christianity, but it doesn't believe in God. It believes in all the Christian principles, but it doesn't live up to it when it doesn't feel like it will benefit them. They don't have any guilt consciences or anything. They're narcissists. They believe in the good in humanity, but they don't believe in God. Oh, it's up to God. Whatever. I'm drawing down to 2 hours almost. 1 hour and 58 minutes, 27 seconds. Okay, I talked myself out of my depression. See how long it takes me to... I was ranting and raving when I first started this 2 hours ago. I was ranting and raving, throwing things and everything. I've been through today. Get up, it's the same thing every day. The same search. Well, it's 2 hours. I'm done. God bless you all in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Oh my God, I'm already sorry that I've offended you, and I test all my sins because of your just punishment, most of all, because I've offended you, my God, all good and deserving of all my love. Firmly resolved without thy grace to confess my sins, do penance, void in error, occasions of sin. Amen. Come, Holy Spirit, kindle us the fire of your love, send forth your Spirit, shall be created, shall renew the face of the earth. O God, you instruct the hearts of faithful by the light, Holy Spirit. Grant us that same Spirit may truly rise, and I rejoice in this consolation through Christ our Lord. Amen. And my body's functions want to jump in and ruin the tape. So, say la vie. Say la vie. exactly 2 hours. Here it is.